This tutorial will walk you through how to do the tool pathing for this model. First thing to do is switch from the design workspace to the manufacturer workspace. I already have a setup completed. I want to make sure I had everything set up the correct way. What you'll do is you click on New Setup. So this will be a second one for me. Click over here. This is the stock tab. We want to do a fixed size box. Our box should be 8 inches by 5.5 by 1.25 with the model position being the center. Come back over here. We want our coordinates. And click over here. We want the Z to be up, the X along, and the Y along that axis. Once we've got those, we can hit OK. The first thing we're going to do is start with an adaptive toolpath. So come over here to 3D and do the adaptive clearing. We need to select a tool. Grab the gray. Go ahead and grab the gray bar. Slide it all the way down. These are all metric tools. And kind of keep scrolling up. We'll get to those tools. We're going to find a 1/2 inch flat end. 1/2 inch flat end right there. So we'll select that. Select. Turn the coolant to disabled. That will be the coolant on the router. We'll change the spindle speed to 10,000 RPM. And we'll change the cutting feed rate to 120 inches per minute. That's going to give us a feed per tooth of 0.004, and that's what we're looking for. Next thing we're going to do is select geometry. I'm going to go ahead and select silhouette. We're going to let this tool outside the box be okay. No additional offset. For stock selections, we'll select this boundary down here. And everything else should stay the same. We'll go to the passes tab. We're going to change, since we have a 1/2 inch bit, change our maximum working step down to 0.5, and the fine step down just to be 0.1. This is how much you go down for each pass of the bit, and this is the smallest that you're allowed to do. Last thing, on the linking tab, we change this instead of 2 degrees, change that to 25. Go ahead and hit OK. I'm just going to go ahead and calculate the toolpath. So this is going to remove a lot of the excess material. It's not going to give us a perfect model. It still has some pretty significant steps, but the 1/2 inch tool will clear out a lot of material pretty quickly. The next toolpath we want to do is a facing toolpath. I'm going to clear off this top section. So go ahead and do the facing toolpath. For the facing toolpath, we want to use this same 3 1/2 inch flat end. Both of these are the same thing. Okay, so I'm just going to click the 1/2 inch flat end mill and select. Don't need the coolant. I'm going to change this back to 10,000 RPM and the cutting feed rate to 120. I'm going to come over here to geometry. And geometry for the stock selection. We're just going to select just that boundary. You don't need it to surface everything. Most of this is already gone. We just need to flatten off that top edge right there. Okay. For the passes, and leaky tabs, we'll leave everything else as it is. Okay, there. You can see it's going to go back and forth. That's it. See if we will come back and edit this. We do want to come over here and stock offset. If we hover over this, we want to add a little extra to the sides. Make sure it gets everything. So we'll go ahead and say 0.25. That'll make it face off an extra 1/4 inch in all directions. We'll make sure it kind of gets all those edges all the way across. Okay. And then the last thing we need to do, if we want to, we can come over here and look at a simulation of our material. We'll go ahead, hit the play button, we'll speed it up a little bit. It's going to carve out that center section. That's the roughing toolpath that does most of the work, and that's the facing toolpath. And if you look at it, we can see that we still have some of those step downs. So the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add just a simple 2D contour toolpath. But with this 2D contour, I'm going to select this ball end. So come down here, scroll all the way down to the bottom. We get to the tutorial metrics, tutorial for the inch. So we're looking for a 1/4 inch, not bull nose, we're looking for 1/4 inch ball. Oh yeah, 1/4 inch ball end. It's 1/4 inch bull. 1/4 inch ball end, number 12. So we'll select that. For this one, we're going to have the spindle speed be a little bit faster. This one will be 12,000 RPM. We'll still have the cutting feed rate of 120 inches per minute, but that's going to give us a feed per tooth of 0.005, which is going to be fine. For the geometry for this, we should just be able to I think we're going to do this one just as it is. Come over here to oh, sorry, I think we do contour selection. Oh, you know what, I'm on the wrong toolpath. We're going to do, sorry, I'm going to do this contour. That's why I was looking odd. So you can still select number 12, the ball end. Come over here, disabled, maybe 12,000 RPM, 120. It just per minute, which gives us a 0.005. That's 120,000. 0.005. Okay. Now for geometry, that's what we want. We want silhouette, tool on center boundary. The only thing we want to check is rest machining. It's only going to do the contour and whatever's left after the previous two paths. And then we can come back over. Passes tab should be fine, and then the leaking tab. We'll just change the ramp to 25 degrees. We have before. Okay. And this should come along and finish up the rest of our rough edges. So to double check this, we'll come up with simulate. We'll go ahead and play. Oops, so sorry. Stop this. We're going to simulate all these. So we'll be on setup 2. Simulate. Play. There we go. We'll speed this up. Carves out the center, carves out the sides, gives us our big details, switches bits, and then this is all the fine detail work. And when we look at this, come here to the right side, we can see we've got a nice fillet there on the end. This fillet up here is not perfect. We can make our stock transparent. We can see that all that you're going to take off with the sandpaper is that little region right there. So this gives us a pretty good approximation of what we're looking for. So whenever we're done with those, you'll just have one set up. We come over here to the post processor. The important part is to select the correct post processor. We're going to come down to ShopBot, and we're going to do ShopBot Open, SVP. And then you can go ahead and save this folder wherever you need to. You can uncheck this box. I'm going to click to save this. My NASA Global Challenge 2021. That's the folder. I'm going to call this composite fabrication. And we'll hit post, and it will save that out into that folder, and this will save it as a file that is readable by the CNC. All right, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much.